Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Wednesday, all of our guests today brought to you by our title sponsor, Jeremy Dodd & Co. Able Auctions, ableauctions.ca. Canucks host Seattle in Abbotsford tonight.
Abby.
Calgary at Rogers Arena to end the preseason on Saturday. Here to talk about this in our all Ian show. There's two Ians.
Yep.
Iain MacIntyre from Sportsnet. Just before we get to Ian, there he is. Hi, Ian. We want to show this board here. Ian, I don't know if you can see it where you are, but the board we introduced, Canucks News, from segment 1. The following players have been recalled from Abbotsford: Seelovs, Johansson, Assassin, Ratu, Carlson, Baines. This is fresh news. Maybe not earth-shattering, but certainly fresh. Ian, is this paperwork? We can't. Rick's having a hard time with making heads or tails with this. What's going on here?
They're trying to have a lineup tonight in Abbotsford that I think is a little more representative of the team that will actually play in Abbotsford.
Oh.
The other motivating factor is to not have to bring all their top players to play two preseason games in the final 3 days. So I feel badly for people in Abbotsford if they thought they were getting the full Canucks team. But my understanding is these recalls are simply to fill the lineup tonight. So there'll be a lot of NHL players there, but a handful of guys will be staying in Vancouver and resting up for this final preseason game on Friday.
And that, of course, includes Elias Pettersson. Any update on his health at all, Ian? He's missed the last two practices and now tonight.
Well, I know you're enjoying the lovely interior of my car. After this, I'll be leaving to go into the rain. Yes, I'm parked here at UBC getting ready for practice. So I'm afraid I have no update from you other than what you all know from yesterday, that Pocket said it's just a day-to-day thing and it's cold and we'll see. I mean, this is, if you are going to be sick, this is a good time to be sick because it's going to be a day off for the team tomorrow. They have the final preseason game on Friday, and then 5 days until they start the regular season. So at least there's some runway here for, and I don't think Pettersson is the only guy who's fighting a bug right now. So it gives them some time to get healthy, and, let's hope that this is in fact all it is with Elias.
So much to talk about when it comes to the Canucks. Ian, let's backtrack a bit here. Vasily Podkolzin sent down to Abbotsford. What's in his hockey future?
Hopefully a long career in the NHL. I mean, he's only been over here 2 years, and he's been all over the place, literally and figuratively. Right? He has never had one spot just to settle into. The probably the closest thing he got to that was last year when he was in the American Hockey League, where he wasn't thrilled to be there. Nobody is when you start your career in the NHL, but he got a chance to play a fairly significant role day after day after day. The expectations were made known to him, and he got a chance to work on his game. And I remember talking to him on a road trip last year. It was back in New York, just after he got recalled. And he was an entirely different player for that experience. And he talked about how hard it was to go down. Henrik Sedin, who worked with him a lot, along with his brother, Danny, said Podkolzin thought his career was over when he first went to the American Hockey League. He was 21 years old, and he thought his career was over because he was in the American Hockey League. I'm sure there's going to be some of that support. Well, there has to be support when young players get sent down, and they'll work on building them back up mentally. Because I talked to Vasily right on the first day of camp in Victoria. He was so excited. He's got a baby, a new direction in his life, and he felt like he learned a lot from his experience last year, but he just didn't have a very good camp. And he's third-year pro over here. Hopefully he has a long career. People who read into this that he somehow doesn't have a future with the Canucks, I don't see it that way at all. If he has a future in the NHL, it's going to be with this team. He just needs to play. He needs to find his game. And you guys, I'm sure, have talked about all the things that Tocchet has said about Vasily overthinking the game and needing to play. Tocchet's word is reckless. As a writer, I'm going to say that's not quite the right word, but he needs to play instinctively. He needs to play freely. And we've seen, and he's had 3 NHL coaches already. We've seen just that he has a paralysis by analysis sometimes, and he's not able to just go play freely and be physical and be instinctive. So that's where they're trying to get him to. I think he's going to be back with the Canucks at some point in the season. I certainly still think he has a future with this franchise.
Ian, I'm looking at the top 6 Canucks D right now, and only 1 is drafted. The rest have been acquired through trades and free agency, and here we go again. This franchise has not developed a right-shot defenseman in the last 10 years, Ian. They're in this predicament because they have not drafted well in the past 10 years when it comes to the blue line.
Yeah, I agree with that. But thank goodness they went out and got a couple of guys because
big time.
Roenick and Cole, you think, well, where would this team be? Like, let's go back to the end of last season. If you had Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and, apparently he's looked good in Florida. But if you had Oliver Ekman-Larsson and you did not have Ian Cole and
Soucy,
Carson Soucy, but also, the Philip Roenick trade, in some respects, you can link that as well, because they'd have a hard time affording Roenick, beyond this year if they still had that Ekman-Larsson contract. So you think about the guys that they got. If they didn't have them, where would this defense be? Now, to your point, Rick, you're right that this, to some extent, is patchwork. Soucy on a 3-year deal, Roenick's a free agent, but they certainly plan to re-sign him. And Ian Cole is here on a 1-year deal, and then you're filling in with guys that you've taught in the American Hockey League, Wolanin and Brisebois and maybe Juleson. And of course, Cole McWard is one of the stories of this camp. But you're right. Long term, they need to build their defense from the bottom up and not try to go get pieces from somewhere else. Hopefully they understand that. They certainly have a couple of really good blue line prospects in Wilander and EP2. So, maybe 2 or 3 years from now, it's a different discussion. But for now, this is what they have to do. And I think this defense, such as it is going to be a better defense than the one that we saw last year.
And Ian, you mentioned a name there, Cole McWard. Are they serious about using him on Quinn Hughes' right side on a regular basis to start the season? And what is it that the coaching staff likes about him?
They like, Donnie, that he shoots right.
Yes.
Is your right hand low on your stick, Donnie?
Yes, I would be a right-handed player. Yes.
All right. Good. That sounded funny when I said
it.
Out loud.
It actually did.
Yeah. Cole McWard. Look, Cole McWard is an excellent prospect. This was a guy who surprised a lot of other teams when he came out of Ohio State, because the word on the street was he was probably going to return to school. But the Canucks with Scott Young, they sold him on this idea of being part of this organization with the carrot that he could come in last year and play some games. So he's a really good prospect. He's a legit prospect. I think a lot of us, though, are struggling to see how he's ready right now. And, he does move well. He skates well. He's got decent size. He can make a pass, and he shoots right. And, this is going back to what Rick said a couple of minutes ago about right side defensemen. This reflects how desperate they are to find guys who can play on their right side. So, it's a great story. It's funny though. I was thinking on the way out to UBC that often if a young player like that is on the cusp of making the team, everybody's excited. Like, remember when Ben Hutton kind of came out of nowhere, and these are recent examples, and Troy Stetcher, everyone was so excited.
Yep.
this case, I kind of feel sorry for Cole McWard because more of the reactions seem to be, huh, really? So we're gonna see. I think though there's two things here. There's the discussion about Cole McWard playing with Quinn Hughes, but there's also this idea that Talkett rolled out this week that this is going to be by committee. So even if, let's say, Cole Ward's on the team, it's not only going to be Cole Ward. It's going to be, situational hockey. And there'll be times where you see Roenick playing with him. There may be times where you see Ian Cole or Carson Soucy switching to their right side and playing with them. And, so those are two different concepts. The committee is kind of an interesting thing. When you have 5 defensemen who have experience, which means you're lacking one on the right side, you got 3 on the left. How do you use those and try to balance your blue line? I think that's an intriguing thing that the Canucks are going to try and do with that. But again, with Cole McWard and Quinn Hughes, he's been there for over a week now. And after the first couple or 3 days, I was asking about, a lot of people were asking about it, like, how long is this experiment going to last? But apparently it's going to last to the end of the preseason. We'll see how it goes.
Low on the stick, Ian. Appreciate it.
What kind of car?
Right hand low.
Ian, what kind of car is that?
This is a Volkswagen from 2016, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I can get you a good deal on it if you like, Ricky.
Let's talk.
I love my car. I'm happy in my vehicle.
Yep.
My day goes downhill after this. After sitting in here talking to you guys,
You're going to get a free oil change for that, Ian. Good job. Thanks for this, my friend.
All right, see you guys.